And welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We've been talking behind backstage there, and I forgot how late it was, and we got off to a late start, and it's all Tamra's fault.
Oh, it's got to be always my fault.
Oh yeah.
Yep, I'm used to that blame game.
Oh yeah, I hear you. I hear you. That just shows you what a fine Christian young lady she is. But we're so glad you joined in with us today. We're going to be talking about mentorship, and we've got a great lady with us, Analyn Scott. Oh my goodness gracious, you see her website there, 1 in 9 Kidney Challenge. When you hear her story, you're going to be really, really moved. It's a fantastic story. And I'm not going to steal any of her thunder, but I just want to say it's always a great day. This is the 6th show of the week for me. Friday afternoon is always my favorite because here in the saddle with us, Miss Tamra Blankenship. She's fondly known here at the E360 TV network as Giggles. So hello, Giggles. How you doing?
Hello. Too funny.
Oh my goodness. So good to have you here today.
Thank you.
And the show today, my goodness gracious, mentorship. We don't really realize the people that look up to us as mentors. You know?
Ooh, I got goosebumps when you said that. That's so true.
Yeah.
We're so busy in our own cycle, we don't realize, we're trying, I think a lot of the times, don't you, that most people are looking for mentors. We're always trying to think of someone who we want to be like or emulate like. We don't realize who's watching us. We have to be aware of, when we're in those off moods or, having a hard time keeping up with the flow of life. Those moments are important too, to recognize who's watching.
Yeah. After I retired, one of the ladies that served with me in the military, her name was Bonnie Chavez. And Bonnie, if you're listening, hello. If you're not listening, hello. But she sent me an email and she says, she says, you were my mentor. I always looked up to you. I'm like, wow, really? What did I do?
Cool.
But it just amazes me. People look at you, and sometimes, especially a young person, like a child, you could be their mentor. You think about that. That's pretty humbling when you think about it. I mean, goodness. And
Special
because absolutely. And I can see Analyn sitting back there, and she's smiling and waving at us and all those good things.
Don't forget about me, guys.
That's right. She's probably saying, she's holding up a sign that says, tell Jim to hush. I want to talk.
I love it.
Yeah, she's shaking her head no. Oh,
no.
Yeah. We have a lot of fun on this show, and that's what it's about. It's about infotainment. And Tamra, before we bring her to the show, I want to do this if I certainly may. I want to put your website up there, tamrablankenship.com. And would you be so kind as to share with the audience out there a little bit about what you do, who you are, and what you do?
What I do? I get this really cool opportunity to hold space with people while they're navigating conflict. I love helping people navigate conflict into resolution so that they can get a deeper understanding in their relationships. And sometimes it's not necessarily someone else they're fighting with, but their own internal struggles and how to make peace with the way life is showing up for them. So we talk about leadership. It's a perfect topic today to talk about, recognizing sometimes we struggle with being in a space of ease and acceptance because we're fighting this great fight. It may be internal, maybe it's external, but it's always those opportunities and how you shine through those moments. And that's where people admire us and we celebrate seeing each other in those spaces. And that's where that mentorship, I always feel like, comes from, is those things that you get to gift back through your own struggles. So that's the way I view it.
Very, very well said. Very well said. Well, let's welcome Analyn Scott to the show. Hey, young lady, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing today, Jim?
I'm doing real good. Oh my goodness. When I told Tamra you're going to be here with us, and she's so excited because we know what you bring to the party. But as I said in the opening statement, wait till you hear Analyn's story. When you and Raymond had just started dating, and he thought you were going to say to him, good luck, el mucho, el hadioso. But that did not happen, did it?
No, that wasn't in the cards. as you mentioned, it was actually 3 months after we met on a blind date.
Mhm.
And I could tell he was a great guy. His kidneys failed unexpectedly at the age of 29, a year out of the military. Thought he was, 6 foot tall and bulletproof. And it came as a big shock to him, a big shock to both of us, really. And at the time, he was, like I said, he was 29 and I was 23. And he came when I picked him up from the hospital a week later. Said, I think I'm going to move back from where we live in Phoenix, because I think I'm going to move back to Charleston. I said, why? He said, I know that I have a long road ahead of me and you're too young. This isn't fair to you. I said, you're a good man. You don't need to go anywhere. Let's see what happens here. And less than a year later, we were married.
Mm. You left out one very important fact.
What's that?
He's a good cook.
He's a very good cook. That was a big bonus. Bonus.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, imagine a nice guy, great guy, handsome, knows how to treat a lady like a lady, treat a lady like a princess in public, and a sweetheart at home, and he can cook. This guy's house trained. I mean, this was
yeah, a lot of those check marks in the good column. That's for sure.
That's cute.
And share with us a little bit about the 1 in 9 kidney challenge, because I know what you guys went through, and that's what generated your mission on the 1 in 9 kidney challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as we were just over the years, there's been twists and turns, and there was so much that we learned through this experience that we knew that we had to share with others. Because here we are 23 years later since his kidneys failed, and we're still learning things every single day. So if we are being surprised by something, then the general public is really clueless about much of this. And so we wanted to really take a stand and share information that we wish we would have known 23, 24, 25 years ago that may have even prevented this, but also, help people, give them hope if they are dealing with it, but bring that awareness and help people avoid a journey like we've had. So, that's really the catalyst of it, is wanting to help others. And through that, since we are talking about mentors here, I have to mention, my husband, Raymond, who's on the other side of this wall right here now on his dialysis treatment as we speak. So we're fortunate to be able to do that 5 days a week. And now he is not just an advocate and a mentor with what we're doing with our nonprofit organization, but he mentors other people that are having to start on dialysis. And that's so rewarding for him and encouraging to others that, he can show that it doesn't have to be a death sentence.
So beautiful. Love that.
It really is. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to stop for just a moment and just pay a quick bill with the 6-minute webinar. We'll be right back with our favorite lady that's going to be on doing the commercial, Angel Marie Monticelli. Guess we won't. We just had a glitch in the system here. I don't know what's going on there. So anyway, let's drive on. It's Friday. Maybe the buttons are worn out.
Hi, I'm Angel Marie Monticelli with Angel Marie Shines. And I had the pleasure, the honor to go through training for the 6-minute webinar. Oh my gosh, this webinar and how it's structured and how they teach it. Thank you, Speakers Pathway Coalition. Thank you, Don McGrath, and the whole team for the 6-minute webinar, because you made it so simple, easy. And the way you lined it out with the outline, I can reproduce it. And I'm already getting the engagement. I'm getting people that are coming back that are saying, oh, I love this webinar that's so short, so to the point, and I love your products and what I'm selling, but then what I'm also, the services that I provide, and I do any of this because I have the framework. So thank you so much to the whole team, because the 6-minute webinar totally rocks. Thank you.
Well, technology works great when it works. I was sitting here pushing the button and nothing happened. I figure, well, maybe the buttons have been pushed all week long and they're just sitting there, kind of tired and panting. What can I say? Like next time I'll put an extra quarter in the machine on this thing.
Oh, buddy. It's a Friday.
Yeah. But Tamra, in your life, you've had mentors, and I'd like for you to share with the audience a person that really meant a lot to you in your life and made a difference in your life.
I hate to be cliche, but I always think of my parents when I think of mentors. I mean, when we're very young, we're guided, from our right, wrongs, good or bads, and how to navigate this life that we're about to go out on an adventure with, right? I just think of my parents as a young child. I went through a lot of adversity and issues that we all go through, but in a way that my parents didn't know. I wasn't as forthtelling about some of the experiences I was having, and their ability to kind of navigate the unknowing and still be supportive was an amazing experience. Just being supported and they didn't need to dig deep. They could see that there was struggles, and so they just stood by me through all the challenges I was going through. So just always, my parents are just that patience and love and compassion for others is just an amazing opportunity to witness that, and to have that in your family is just a gift.
Oh,
about
yeah. Okay. I was, of course, I had great parents growing up. My mother was a wonderful lady. She always would call me Sonny Boy. And I've shared before with the TV audience out there, the two favorite sayings that I heard a lot from my dad is that, son, when did that seem like a good idea to you? And then he'd say, son, I'd be careful with that. That's looks like a good way to skin your ignorance. But I want to shift.
I love that one.
Yeah, I want to shift the gear. When I first went into the United States Army, I took basic at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And one thing I've always loved hearing, and it comes from everybody. If you're a young person, male or female, going into the Army or the military, you're going to hear this. You can hear it from your mother, your aunt, your grandmother, your friends, and that's all, that one thing. Be sure you don't volunteer for anything. Oh, okay. Thanks for that heads up. I don't know where that got started, but that's the most common thing you heard. But in basic training, I had a DI drill instructor with Sergeant Blaylock. And I'd heard all those stories and all that. But what really impressed me about Sergeant Blaylock is that I never, ever, ever heard him raise his voice one single time. I never heard him use a 4-letter word. When he spoke, he was kind of soft-spoken, but he was a big, burly guy. He was a member of the 82nd Airborne. I mean, he was, you could tell by looking at him, he was a super trooper. That's who he was. His presence commanded respect. And he said, gentlemen, listen up. And he would tell us what he wanted to say. And we got it. He just commanded that kind of respect. And I wanted to be like him as a soldier because of the respect I had for him. Now, we had some other drill sergeants in there. They were rough as billy goats, okay? But he was in a class all by himself, and it was a choice that he made. He set a standard high for himself. He expected us to meet that same standard. He was tough on us now. I mean, he didn't serve us, cookies and cream or anything like that. I mean, he'd make you hump and pump. But the respect that he gave us, it demanded us to respect him too. And, you always think of a drill sergeant being half human and half bulldog. But this guy, he was a super trooper from the alpha to the omega in his life. Everything about him. His uniform was always strike. Back in those days, the fatigues were always, just starched. His boots looked like black glass.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, he was a strike trooper. He really was. And he made a great impression on all of us. And he also let us know when we did a good job. And when he counseled someone, He didn't yell at you in front of everybody else. He took you aside with a one-on-one personal conversation in a very calm, straightforward, voice. But when he praised you, it was in front of everybody. Let's give, private so-and-so a hand here. You did a great job there. Way to go.
Wow, that's a very unique trait in the military. Usually public humiliation was the tactic of the day.
Yeah, I know.
What he was definitely ahead of the curve.
Oh, he was in a league all by himself, because I was glad I was in his platoon.
Yeah.
Because some of the other guys over there, I mean, they got
that.
called everything from a skunk to a horse. I mean, it was awful. I mean, they were just, the other drill sergeants were just rough. They wanted to break you, and they wanted to drive you down and then build you back up. And I mean, he didn't do that.
You just don't hear stories like this. It's so fascinating. And even today, nowadays, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the reports of that those two men that now are in jail for hazing in the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more, those are very rare cases, very extreme cases, like in any environment, but it's usually got that reputation of being more aggressive than supportive. And you're talking about this beautiful person who came in and did things different. So cool. Yeah.
That was just who he was. That was his personality. And, he let his presence speak for him, you might say.
So cool.
And because a lot of the other ones, I mean, I saw one guy get knocked completely flat. There was 2 hits. One hit when the drill sergeant hit him. The second hit was when he hit the ground.
Wow.
But he had this guy that he had a motor mouth on him, because the drill sergeant told him, says, either shut your mouth or I'm going to shut it for you. And
that sounds about right.
He kind of explained it to him on his level, you might say. He could understand when I say hush, that means hush. But, being a mentor like that was in 1968. And here we are now in 2021. And I'm talking about Staff Sergeant Blaylock. He was my mentor, my first mentor in the military. I knew a lot of good guys in the military. And that's what made me stay for 31 years. It was the people. It was the people that I had the honor and privilege of wearing a military uniform and serving with these wonderful men and women. And like I said earlier, for Bonnie Chavez to say to me that I was a mentor to her when she was, when I was there, and she was one of the instructors, I'm thinking, wow, I didn't realize that. If I'd known that, I might have acted a little bit more, I'm kidding. But, sometimes in life, someone will someone will come up to you and say, wow, I remember when you did this and you did that and you did the other. And oh my goodness, it kind of like takes you back a little bit. And I know that Analyn, my goodness gracious, with Raymond and his ability to be a mentor to others that are suffering from kidney failure and have kidney disease and all that, and the mission you guys are on, you guys are not just mentors. You two guys are monuments. Your mic is muted.
Sorry about that. That's kind of you to say. And speaking of monuments, I'll have to share with you then who my key mentor was, because it's definitely a monumental person and someone who has been mentoring me since I was 12 years old. But they don't know that they've been mentoring me. They've been mentoring many, many people over the years. And I start with this person because she was not only a mentor then, but has continued to be. And as I've seen her grow and the bold steps she's made, it made me understand that I can also do things that, are maybe other people might think are impossible. And that person is Oprah Winfrey. And so I don't know how many 12-year-old girls you knew that would come running home from school and, push my younger siblings out of the way to watch Oprah, but that was me. So I grew up watching Oprah from the time she started, and I was 12. And so to see the things that she has done, and then through the work that she does, the storytelling, the just the
Is that true?
positivity, how
Mhm.
that just, it made me look at, well, what can I do? And not look at what, like I said, what would seem impossible to most folks. And my background is actually in IT sales.
Hmm.
But when I left, I was really inspired 7 years ago that chapter was ending. I didn't know what the new chapter was, but it was time for me to leave that. And at that time, that year, I kept getting so many clues. And Oprah had moved from, having her show, had now her own network.
Mm-hmm.
And she had Life Class. I don't know if you remember that, but she had Life Class, which was wonderful. And I was watching it one day, and same thing. While Raymond was on his dialysis, she had Bishop T.D. Jakes on, and he was talking about his new book, Instinct. And I remember that I was like having church, like I'm like talking to the TV and yelling and, like, yes, this is speaking to me. This is so right on. And Raymond looking at me like, okay, this message must be for you. And, and I'd heard about T.D. Jakes before, but I'd never really experienced him. And so Oprah led me to T.D. Jakes, who became my mentor, who he doesn't know it. And I like to jokingly say that Oprah helped lead me to a closer relationship with Jesus. And a lot of people might scratch their head on that one. But I'll tell you that those mentors have made such a difference in my life and at pivotal points in my life. And so I would be curious, I'm sure the audience listening here, if they were to recall like some of their mentors, did the people even know that they were a mentor to them?
I think that's it's a great question. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt real quick, Jeff. I apologize. Or Jeff. Jim, sorry. I guess I'm a little tired. When you were saying that, the first thing I know, he's like, who? What?
Yeah, I've got to put my name tag on.
It's been a long week. I was going to say it's fascinating. A lot of people do step into a light, if you will, or a space to lead many people, to be that inspiration. I always think of Oprah as this really cool person, a connector that helps share the message of others, give them a platform, a space to connect and relate to each other even more deeply. So she is an amazing voice. So I love that you see that. And how it brings you to spirituality, which is really your soul, right? Deeply connecting to others and being able to celebrate the unity. And so I love that. And the 17 step success principles, just thinking of the positive mental attitude that celebrating that is, I feel like that's what you're really speaking to, like really being in that space where there's so much gift in one person's focused that energy into. So I love that you see that.
100%, 100%. And I love what you just shared too about, even her platform. And so if you would have told me 7 years ago that I would walk away from my IT career, which I was very, successful in, and start a nonprofit organization, complete a documentary. And now I also was led to start my own production company, Shining Light Productions, where we exist to shine a light on people and organizations making a difference in the lives of others. So that was the example she set for me of what was possible, so that we can shine a light and help others through whatever adversity or whatever they're going through. And the positive attitude, so spot on. Because I'll tell you, if Raymond didn't have that over the years, he wouldn't still be here.
So true. So true.
Absolutely. And I love listening to both of you. You made great comments, and it's just amazing how, if you're sitting out there and you're wondering if you can make a difference, you are making a difference in someone's life. And the thing that you've got to do is be the kind of person that you want to be remembered as. I think that's a real good thing for someone to put in their mind and to be remembered as. And, it's if someone would ask me how you want to be remembered, not them, well, I don't know. It's not up to me. I don't think. I mean, I'm going to try to be a nice guy and I'm going to try to help people when I can. But I mean, I don't, that's not me exactly. But what I do and what I demonstrate in my life, that speaks volumes to people that's watching you, especially younger people who are looking for a mentor, especially during this time. Look at all the nonsense going on in our world today. People getting labeled as this and that and the other, and all the hate and all of the, just the nonsense. And I'll leave it at that. And that's where, and the people are hungry. They are very, very anemic inside for someone to be positive, for someone to be that shining light and say, I want to be like you. And that's your calling in life. And, when it comes to that, I mean, you're talking about using your own personal initiative. Get up and do something. Look how you can be a blessing to someone else. If you have that type of vision, then half the battle is already won. It really is. And my goodness, when it comes to teamwork, my goodness, team up with other people, have the same type of heart, the same type of mindset that you do. And it just explodes from there. It creates its own energy. Mm-hmm. It really does. And, this show here is a perfect example, because here I've got two lovely ladies, two great friends, and to bring them together and to have them share their message with you out there. My goodness gracious. I'm glad energy played a big part in that, because I don't have, just between me and you, I'm not that smart. Okay. Don't tell anybody.
Jim, you were just saying something that I really want to highlight on, because there's an element to mentorship that I think people get, like they're always seeking outside themselves for mentorship. And I'm a big believer that God communicates to us through our heart. So sometimes mentorship is really quieting down and listening to leading with your heart versus your head, and really taking that opportunity to, what does mentorship mean to me? For me, it means to be the best version of myself at any given moment, no matter what, like whether I'm dealing with a migraine, whether I'm dealing with somebody getting angry with me and navigating that. It's always those moments of, how can I be my best version so that I can lead with my heart. And remember that the biggest guidance you get is your inner lead, and I just, because I believe that that's where we communicate, from our heart to heart. I do believe our head gets in the way of talking with our heart, and speaking from the heart. And so I feel like if we could really celebrate that kind of connection, probably wouldn't have as many arguments.
Oh yeah.
But
because that, Analyn, what she's talking about there is self-discipline. That's a huge principle for someone to have if they want to be the kind of person that they want to be remembered as. And I know yourself, I mean, my goodness, the lifestyle that you've lived in, being with Raymond, being his wife, being, the best friend he's ever had in his life, and enjoying all of his good cooking. I mean, self-discipline. I mean, that's been a big part of you, hasn't it?
It really has. That discipline, and also just we both say kind of that stick-to-itiveness. And there's been, because it's not been easy and been through a lot, but we always, at the end of the day, we put, one arm in, we really lock arms and just say, put one foot in front of the other. That's all we have to do today, is just keep stepping forward. And that's what I would encourage other people to do, that no matter what, and listen, like you said, Tamra, to that inner voice, those instincts that TD Jakes was talking about. So when he was speaking to me, I'm like, yes, because what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing, does not match what society's expectations of me would not match what my family's expectations of me would be. But as I listened, and it was clue after clue after clue after clue, and I made that determination the summer of 2014 that I was going to leave my corporate job before the end of the year. Didn't know what was next. I just knew that this change needed to happen Only
Mhm.
person I told was Raymond and I spoke about it. We did not tell a soul because, of course, then they're going to come in with their opinions. So I think
Mm.
you have to be careful of who's truly a mentor and who's just giving some opinions. And you have to be mindful of what voices you're allowing in
Oh,
to
so
Mhm.
true.
give you guidance, because I
Yeah.
knew the way I was being led, what I was being told was so powerful. And other people wouldn't understand it. In fact, when I did leave my job, a lot of people didn't understand. My family's like, why would you do that? You had your best year ever. It was time to go. And
Mhm.
so glad that I made that decision. But we've got to make sure that we're listening to the right voices.
So
Mhm.
accurate.
And you
And
know,
so,
Tamara, I was
sorry,
just
go ahead.
going to say right quickly, excuse me, in Analyn's and Raymond's situation, there's no 2-week vacation.
No, no.
I mean, think about that. I mean, goodness, that just blows me away. I just had to say that. So pardon me for interrupting. Please go ahead, Tamara.
That's okay. I forgot what I was going to say, but that's because that really does capture it all right there. There is no
Mhm.
break from the experiences you're having, the challenges or the struggles. I don't even want to call it challenges. I feel like it's opportunities, right? Because even you
Mhm.
guys took this challenge and turned it into a tightness, a bond between the two of you, and strengthened your relationship with something that would a lot of times break relationships, right? Because there's an
Mhm.
out of balance expression, that I feel like a lot of people step into relationships not knowingly, what's in it for me attitude, not knowingly, not aware that they're in that space. And so that when something like this can pop up, it can challenge and test the bond. And it's so
Mhm.
beautiful to hear that you guys weren't in a relationship where you were thinking of the I perspective. It was a total we celebration. And
Mm.
it's just absolutely stunning that you have that and that you celebrate each other that way. Because that is, to me, the whole point we're here is to have this amazing human experience
Mhm.
and bond together and find each other along the way. So it's beautiful that you've done that.
Thank you. Yeah, I say we fit each other very, very well. We complement each other well. I said
Mhm.
his cooking skills I do truly appreciate because I was not gifted in that area. Don't ask me to cook or sing or dance because those weren't the talents I was given. But
That's cute.
we complement each other in great ways. And so and I was, I've always been very determined. And so Raymond says it lovingly. He always says I'm his biggest advocate. But first and foremost, let me first start by saying his term of endearment for me is babe, but the second one is bulldog, and I'm clearly that bulldog for him. And what I love is that through our partnership and what we're doing now, we can be bulldogs for other people and
Mm.
advocate for them, because sometimes people don't have the knowledge or have the strength at that
Mm.
time.
Can we go into that a little bit deeper? Because I feel like
Mhm.
people aren't even aware of what kind of challenges maybe they've got their first round of diagnosis, or maybe you could share with us the stages and just real high profile. I'm not asking you real deep because I know it's very deep, but just, what's it like to walk in the shoes of someone who's about to embark this new journey?
So let me start where we started.
Mhm.
Because when Raymond found out he had kidney disease, he was at stage 5, which is kidney failure. So that means there's still stages 1 through 5. He didn't know,
Mhm.
although later we found
All
out it
those
was
signs.
all
Yeah.
those, and because it's a very silent disease. So most people
Mm.
don't feel it. Um, Diabetes and high blood pressure are the 2 leading causes. Raymond happened to have high blood pressure, and that's what caused his. So for us, imagine, Raymond's going into so he's going into urgent care after a week of my nagging him about this cough that he had. And he's like, oh, it's probably bronchitis. I'll get some antibiotics. He goes into the urgent care and his blood pressure was 270 over 190.
Oh,
Whoa.
And they took him by ambulance to the hospital. And by the
yeah.
time he gets there, it's 300 over 200. And the ER doctor is coming in and telling him that his kidneys have failed and he's having to start dialysis. And he's like, what is dialysis? I don't even know what it is. What are we having to do? And so I start there because he what is now, we know this term, crashed into dialysis. They had to come up with a term for it because it's happening way too often. So we're sounding an alarm to help people, understand maybe the risk factors before they even get to kidney disease. And then if they are at stages 1 through 4, help them identify it, help even reverse it. We've been able to do that. But Tamra, all the time we are talking to people, whether it be with what we're doing with 1 in 9, or as Raymond is talking to these patients that are just either they're just finding out that they're having to start dialysis, or maybe they're in center and they want to know about the home option, like what Raymond's doing. So often we are finding people getting caught off guard and saying, what is this? What's happening to me? And it's a total lifestyle change. So I'm just going to be blunt. So the kidneys filter everything. We know that, kidneys, you need those for, I'm just going to be blunt, even to urinate. So some people can still urinate and have kidneys, not even notice that they have a problem. But at kidney failure, even in kidney failure, you can still urinate. But after a while, they can just completely end. So Raymond he doesn't pee at all. I don't know why, but sometimes just being that blunt, people will go, oh my goodness. So the only way he can get that fluid and those toxins out of his body are with this dialysis treatment that he does 5 days a week. And many people, unfortunately, are doing in center only 3 days a week. So they're having all this fluid coming up and coming down, which is really hard on their hearts. So, but I think just to kind of give you those points in just a nutshell, I think I was led to kind of share that bluntness because people take that for granted. They don't understand. You don't really think.
Absolutely. We don't realize all the body parts and their functions and their needs. Like I lost my gallbladder at a very young age. I literally had it removed after my firstborn because something was wrong with the medication I was taking. Long story, but anyway, you don't realize now that I'm much older, my liver has issues because when you lose your gallbladder, you lose the ability to digest fats. They don't just go out through you. They actually get stuck in places. And people don't realize, like you're saying, that the things that happen in your journey, you have to know the fullness of it. So I love that you share that because that is something that I don't think people realize, that domino effect that goes through the body, right? Yeah.
And so with that knowledge, people just having that awareness, then they have, it's a different mindset. It's a different perspective. You have, you can ask your doctor about it. You can start to, figure out what are some of the risk factors. And something I say all the time, if you were to ask a 5-year-old child what the pink ribbon stands for, they're going to know it's breast cancer. And we all know someone that's had breast cancer. My mom has had it. We know my mom's a survivor. But if you were to ask the average adult, they couldn't tell you one fact about kidney disease, yet it kills more people each year than breast cancer or prostate cancer. Problem with that.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because it's not as glitzy as, I hate to say breast cancer is glitzy.
It's not as sexy as breast cancer.
No, but it's like, it's really fascinating to me. Why do we give so much focus to certain illnesses over others? Because there are a lot of things that do. I mean, look at even obesity, there's, or maybe even anorexia, look at either extremes. There's a lot out there that we need to bring attention to, but you're right. There's not as much awareness around it. What do you equate that to?
I think the silence. So not only is kidney disease a very silent disease, so if you look even at diabetes and high blood pressure, again, being the 2 leading causes, those can be very silent. There's so many people that are pre-diabetic, don't even know it. And when I look at the statistics of where we are today and where we're going, it's very frightening. I say frightening, I'm still optimistic that we can get the numbers turned around, but it's not going in a very good direction. So the silence on that, the silence that you don't have symptoms for kidney disease, and then the silence, and I don't know why this is, but there seems to be maybe even a shame, which there shouldn't.
Yeah.
I think that there is, and just maybe a sense of, I don't know, it's hard, but it's you don't see people necessarily talking about it. I will share, so often over the years, we have encountered people that, and if you were to look at my husband, you would not guess he's on dialysis. He looks
No.
fantastic. He does not look like what he has been through at all. But over the years, when we may encounter people and we're talking, and they find out that he's on dialysis, he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Because
Oh, there you
lack of
go.
awareness all around. So it's like, oh, it's a death sentence versus the
Very good statement.
response when there's more education, whether it be breast cancer or any type of cancer. If someone says, "I have cancer," people are like, "You're going to kick cancer in its ass. You got this. You got this." It's a different response, but I think it's so
You know what?
silent. People don't know what to say, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." So then it makes people not want to speak up about
Or
it.
uncomfortable. You know what? That's a great element of awareness around that, because you're right. Cancer has this reputation of being able to fight it and come full circle, where dialysis is like a forever commitment, right? So, I think that's a beautiful statement right there. Or maybe that's the simple, it's a lifestyle change that they are now a part of for the rest of their life. And maybe that's as simple as it gets, because when you do that fight for something. Go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, when people go to the 1 in 9 kidney challenge, especially you folks out there, if you or someone is suffering from kidney disease or kidney failure, if you go to 1in9kidneychallenge.com, that you see right there on the ticker tape, you're going to be automatically joined together with a family of people who understand, they care, they provide support, and most importantly, you'll get education and you'll get hope. That is one thing that I want to bring out about hope that all mentors should demonstrate to people that they're trying to help, is that give them education, give them hope, and keep them focused on the right path for them. And you guys I just got to salute you on that, because you and Raymond, you guys, like I said before, you're both monuments. I mean, someone goes in there, and I've seen Raymond. I've met him before. And if you saw him on the street, you wouldn't think he has any health problems at all. When I saw him, I mean, he's just a great looking guy. And if someone is there and they're in the early stages of kidney disease and they're seeing Raymond after hearing his story, they'll go, "Oh my gosh, that's going to be encouraging for them."
Very much so. And I should note that 90% of the people with kidney disease are walking around and don't even know that they have it. And that shouldn't be a scary thing. Like, put the blinders. I don't want to know. You do want to know. We want to reach those people. And so both on our website, and also we can be found on Facebook at 1 in 9 Kidney Challenge. We also have a link on there for our documentary, which we're allowing people to go on demand and watch for free. It's called A Dance with Destiny. And I won't say too much or steal the thunder from it, but when you see, I already told you that I'm not the dancer in the household. So when
that kind of narrows it down there, doesn't it?
Again, you will be amazed. But it really is, we created it to share our story, but to really share hope and to share information to help others.
I saw the video of Raymond dancing, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I wish I could dance that good. I mean, it's just so inspiring that your life, you can live the life that you want to. You may have kidney disease, but kidney disease does not own you. It doesn't enslave you. That's what a lot of folks out there, that when they get stricken down with some type of a health ailment, they feel like, this thing is going to enslave me. It can only enslave you if you allow it to occupy the canyons of your mind. And Analyn and Raymond, my goodness gracious, you guys, I mean, talk about a testament of being mentors. And Tamra, I mean, I believe this is the first time you've met Analyn.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to get to spend some time with you. You are definitely a bright light.
Yeah, I told her by text. I said, we got Analyn coming on. She's going to join us today about mentors, because she's a great source. And I said, you're going to love this lady. And you can see now why I said that.
Yes, I do. You're
Yeah.
amazing.
So, mhm. And, you know, Raymond, my goodness, with you by his side, he's been able to overcome great obstacles in his life. He's been able to maintain a good quality of life. That's extremely important for someone that's got any kind of a physical ailment to say, hey, I'm able to do what I want to do. I can maintain a good quality of life as far as living and being alive. And, you know, I wish he was able to be on the camera here with us, but I know he's getting his treatment now. But, oh, such a wonderful person, a wonderful man. And did I mention he's also a great cook? Did I
Yeah, you'll get to experience yourself when you come to Phoenix. So
yeah, yeah. Because
uh-huh.
I did something for you, and I forget what it was now, to be honest with you. And you thanked me very much. I said, well, wait to get my bill. And I sent her a joke, and I said, what you owe me is one chili cheese dog, a big order of fries, and a Dr. Pepper. And that turned into
How about a
something.
good home cooked meal from Raymond? How about that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Maybe one better.
she upped the ante on me in a hurry. So I said, okay, I'll forget my, I took my bill and tore it up. I'm going to take advantage of their hospitality. And I really like for you guys, both of you live in the Phoenix area, to be able to hook up there and get more coordinated, because you two are soul sisters. I know that because I know you both very well. You really are. And Tamra, my goodness, I mean, the inspiration that Analyn and Raymond's lives have demonstrated. My goodness, how important is that for, you know, not only in their relationship, but for the people they interact with?
Yeah, your love story is definitely something for others to celebrate and recognize that there's opportunity to bond over adversity and challenges, and not to look at them as not my problem. You know,
Yeah.
we are all here together to support each other. And I love that you not only found your way, but also navigating this in a beautiful way to celebrate more of what life has to offer. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And I
Thanks
have
for
to
sharing.
say that even our children have given a lot of inspiration to Raymond, because over the years it hasn't been easy. And, you know, sometimes Raymond has admitted, you know, he said sometimes he would feel like an anchor, and we're like, no, absolutely not.
I get that.
And he remembers, so at 29 he had the kidney failure, and at 39 he had open heart surgery, emergency open heart surgery. And he remembers looking when I brought our son in, who was in a stroller, after he came out of ICU, and he could only wheel him out and, you know, just see him, but he could see all the tubes hooked up to him. And Raymond said he could see the fear in his face and the shock. And he said at that point too, he said, I have to do better. My job is to live. I have to buy more years back to be here for my wife and kids. And he'd been doing the things that he needed to do, but he's like, no, I have to do more. And he stepped it up. He was so disciplined. Maybe that discipline from the Army grant, from Jim, I mean, but
that works.
Yeah.
We're calling them all different kinds of things
all
today.
different ones, Jim Grant.
Well, if I can get a grant, I
You're a
feel
lot closer
okay.
than I was.
But I'm telling you, he was, you know, he had that discipline. So he was like, I'm going to do better. I'm going to exercise. And then, of course, with him starting on the home dialysis, he gave him more energy. He was feeling better, and he took advantage of that. He didn't just sit back and go, okay, I feel better. He works out 4 or 5 days a week. And I wish I had it here to show you. I'll have to send it to you later, Jim. But I have a collage that I put together. And I did it one year for, I think, when our son turned 13 or 14. And it was pictures of he and Raymond together from an infant and over the years to where he was then. And you see our son getting older, and you see Raymond getting younger. So he, through that discipline and that fight for life, fight to be here for us, and not seeing himself as an anchor, he has literally bought years back, and completely, you know, is defying the odds, and will continue to, because he's promised me that we're both going to be old and gray, and he's still going to be chasing me around the house.
Exactly. I love that.
I'm not going to say anything about chasing around the house. I'm not going to go.
Now you're biting your tongue there.
It's like a whole thing.
Oh,
It was funny to watch
now-
his little demeanor. He's like,
Yeah.
mm.
The old and the gray, I got down pat. I worked hard on this,
I'm sure you've heard every single one.
Oh yeah. That's just wonderful. I mean, just think about all the hope that just vibrates from you folks, and the folks out there that's going to see the show either live or on replay. My goodness gracious, the love that you demonstrate for one another, the compassion, and how you reach out to others and help them in their hour of need. I mean, my goodness gracious. I mean, Analyn, I just got to salute you, young lady. I really do, and you're in my heart, and Raymond is too, because you're just top caliber people. Your mission was to lead and guide others and give them hope. What a tremendous calling. I just, that's the best as I can say it. And just a tremendous calling that you've got. And you've answered the bell. How many people out there do we know? And how many times, let me use myself as an example so I don't, upset anybody. How many times in my life, if I should have went the extra mile and I didn't even want to get out of bed, I was too lazy.
Well, was
too
it
focused.
lazy or doing self-care? Because I think there's a difference. You sure it was lazy? See, sometimes I feel like we push so hard to be in these roles of expectation, and
Well,
I don't know, maybe you needed that.
Well, either way you label it, I didn't do nothing. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing, But,
I hear
you
ya.
think about not using your God-given talent and your gift and your ability.
Yeah.
It's pitiful. There's no other way to say it, because you're
I
more
just don't
focused.
see anything lazy about you, Jim. I'm sorry.
Well,
I can't go that mile with you on this. I'm sorry.
Well,
As long as I've known you, you are a very aggressive, well, not aggressive in a bad way, but aggressive, assertive, and strong, a very man of a clear vision. And so some days I think you just need to kick back. It's good.
yeah, I tell you, well, I remember when I had my business, and sometimes I was out playing in a golf tournament for charity.
Yeah.
And I would sometimes feel a little guilty. I should be back there, doing something,
Yeah.
And it's really sad when you're like that, you're that driven, because, you just, it robs you from enjoying the true value and the blessings of life. It really does. And I tell people, we finished third in that tournament. We got a trophy. And this is a pro-am tournament. And people come in my office and say, Jim, you finished third? Your team finished third in a pro-am tournament? And I said, yeah, sure. Only 3 teams showed up. Why? But you got to have a good sense of humor, because laughter is a tremendous healer in your body. It really is. It keeps you young, and it helps restore, a lot of good things between your gut, your heart, and your mind. Those 3 things have got to be in perfect harmony to enjoy good health. And I'm certainly not a subject matter expert on that, but I can accept that and agree with it, because I know Tamra is very much involved with her health, and I know you guys are too, because that's the perfect balance in the harmony of living a good quality life. And just think how that can inspire somebody else to give up a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or yours truly, a chili cheese dog with extra grease so to slide down the hatch,
Oh man. So could you share one more time with us that documentary? I would like people to see and celebrate your story. So if you could share again where they could find that.
Sure. If they go to, you can find us on Facebook at 1 in 9 Kidney Challenge. And we've got several links on there that goes right to A Dance with Destiny, where you can register and watch it on demand for free this month.
Oh,
Wow.
How cool.
Tell Raymond I'm gonna come out there. I want him to give me some dancing lessons. I mean, just show me how to do the steps, not actually do the, the
You want
dance.
to have a personal experience?
And no. Us men, we got our pride.
When he gets embarrassed, like every time he sees himself dance on there, and he sees the
Yeah.
video. But every time I see it, I'm just so touched, so proud of him.
Mm.
And again, in fact, the night of his dance performance was 18 years to the day that his kidneys failed.
Wow. Yeah, I remember you saying that. Goodness. Yeah, it's amazing because I've seen the video of him dancing, and oh my goodness gracious. He made himself, he did himself good. He can be proud of that. He really can. He really can. And it just goes to show you that even though he's got kidney failure, he can still do the things he wants to do and live life, a good quality life. That to me just speaks volumes from people that suffer from any kind of health ailment or disease, because he's a living testament of that.
Mm-hmm.
He really is.
Yeah, most definitely. We've traveled. We've gone, to Italy, gone to Jamaica. We've gone to, Montreal, different places.
Wow.
Even traveled around the country on an RV with his dialysis machine, taking turns driving, and doing his treatment too. So it doesn't stop life.
Wow.
We just take what we have. We keep moving forward, see what we can do, so that we can help others, because it would be one thing with the things that we've learned and some blessings that we've had in our journey that we even share in the film. It would be one thing for me to say, well, he's doing good. I have my husband here.
Yeah.
We have to help others to have their husband, their son, their child, their father, their sister, their loved one here as well. It's not just, it's so much bigger than us, so much bigger than us.
The more I hear you share about your life, the more I'm impressed with both of you. Going across country in RV, no problem. We got plenty of room for the machine and everything. Hammer time. Let's go.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Love that.
And that even goes back to, just real quickly, I'll share, with following those instincts. And so, like you said, sometimes your mentor can be, whatever, if you're spiritual, if you believe it's, God or the Holy Spirit or whatever you might think, but when you have to trust your instincts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was very clear, get on the road. We had to get on the road. It was very clear. It was very 7 years ago, 2014. The clues, and a vision. And Tamra, this was the biggest vision of my entire life. But all I could see were the silhouettes of millions of people. And the message was, we've been waiting for you.
Oh,
wow.
Goosebumps.
And I didn't know I didn't know, but I knew with, clarity that chapter was ending. So we did our last trip to Italy in October, and then I left. And prior to my giving my notice, it was, came to me, you don't need to quit your job. You can stay right where you are.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always that but life and death are on the line. I didn't know if it was Raymond's mine or someone else's or a combination, but I said, I already am very clear. I know that this chapter is over. It's time for me to move on. And what has happened, and one of the things you'll get to see in the film, is that had I not made that decision, Raymond would not be here.
Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our time is up. It's 4:00 with our Central Time, and got another show coming up behind us. But my goodness gracious, the message you've heard today here from Analyn, and the information from Tamra and all that. Goodness gracious, I mean, please share this show with others, because there's people out there that's looking for mentors. There's people out there that's sick and hurting. They have physical afflictions, things of this nature. And if they don't know where to go to even start, regardless what that disease is, at least go to 1in9kidneychallenge.com. That's a great place to start. These are fantastic people. They'll welcome you with open arms. And most importantly, they will help you any way they can. That's just the kind of people they are. And on behalf of Tamra and Analyn, I'm honored to be here with these two lovely ladies. I really am. And we hope you enjoyed the show. And most importantly, be sure and share it with others. I'm Jim Grant, and Tamra Blankenship and Analyn Scott will all wave goodbye. Have a wonderful weekend. Remember to love yourself first, then you can love others. Bye-bye.